Thailand says the satellite images were taken on Monday, with the debris expected to have moved from there since then. It's proving to be one of the biggest hurdles facing rescue teams. Well, joining me now with more from Kuala Lumpur is our correspondent, Rian Maelzer. Rian, what's the latest you have there?
Well, it's being called an unparalleled multinational effort to try to unravel an unprecedented aviation mystery. 26 countries have been involved in this search, stretching from Australia to the UK, spanning the continents, and ideological differences and political rivalries. And Malaysia's ability to pull together this multinational team has been the one facet of its handling of this investigation that has won praise rather than criticism.
In the air, over land, and on the sea, on radar screens and from space, more than 24 countries have pitched in to try to locate Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Malaysia says not a single country has turned down any of its requests for assistance, as states have put aside ideological differences, political disputes and rivalries to aid the search.
I won't go so far as to say that this will be a new modus operandi for countries going forward, but it certainly gives a glimmer of hope, right, that countries will come together if the circumstances are right and share information, even if it goes against some of the, some of the rules or the doctrines that they hold near and dear on the basis of national security.
Malaysia has been able to draw on its connections through groupings such as ASEAN, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and the Commonwealth. And though it doesn't always see eye to eye with them, Malaysia has also nurtured close ties with both the US and China, who along with Australia have been the biggest contributors to the search effort.
Because of Malaysia's own posture in international relations, in the international system, it's been a lot easier for Malaysia to cooperate with diverse countries.
But while countries are keen to help Malaysia in a task that is clearly well beyond its own capabilities, some of them may also have other motivations.
Just a bit of show-offs, showing off, because these countries have got some ability, some technology, the assets that are necessary. So, it's for them to put on a show as well.
Whatever the motivation, the multinational effort will be even more vital now, with the focus on locating the wreckage of the plane and its black box, likely kilometers underwater in one of the most isolated and difficult environments on Earth.
Now, Malaysia has particularly close and cordial ties with Australia, which is very fortunate given that that country has now become the fulcrum of the search.
Now, Ryan, I want to get to another part of the investigation, and that is we're hearing that the FBI has reportedly very close to finishing the examination of the flight simulator hard drives. That's the flight simulator that the pilot had at his home, and they say there's no smoking gun there, and also they say after an investigation of passengers, there's no motive that they could see. So where else could this search go, the search for clues, rather than just the black box data recorder or the cockpit voice recorder?
Well, yeah, that's a very, very good question. I think that there were some concerns on the Malaysians' part about the data on this flight simulator. Would it show that the pilot had actually practiced maneuvers, the types of maneuvers to avoid radar, to turn between the air traffic control of Indonesia and Thailand and Malaysia, and then divert toward the southern Indian Ocean? Would the flight simulators hard drives hold information to show that he'd practiced these kinds of maneuvers? And they had some concerns, we're told, because the data appeared not just to have been deleted by simply hitting the delete key, but it had been a more permanent erase. So the hope was that maybe that the FBI would be able to uncover something of that sort. We're hearing that's not necessarily the case. We're hearing they're not finding anything really suspicious about the motives of any of the passengers or crew. So where does that leave them? They have to find the voice recorder and they have to find the black box. But now we're hearing from Honeywell that, startlingly, the voice recorder effectively erases itself every 2 hours and starts recording again. So the critical information, which is when the plane turned around and disappeared, what happened in the cockpit at that point, will be lost. And in this day and age of vast hard drives that can hold thousands of hours of video, how is it that a voice data recorder cannot hold an entire flight's worth of data? It's quite remarkable, and it means that this could maybe never be unraveled.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Ryan Maelzer there from Kuala Lumpur.